Now that we've lost his global basketball phenomenon, we're joined by Sandeep Chandok. He is with Yahoo Sports to talk about this incredible loss for the sports community. Hey there, Sandeep.
Hey, how's it going?
So, your initial reaction when you got the news, I'm sure shocked just like everybody else. Tell me about, again, what a loss this is for not just the NBA, but the world of sports.
Yeah, like you said, Ella, I was just as shocked as everyone else. I woke up to a text from one of my buddies, and he's like, "Hey man, Kobe died," and I was like, "What?" And my first thing I had to do was go to social media, and I started checking, all the different reports. And the first one I saw was just like everyone else was TMZ, and at first I was kind of hesitant to believe that, and then my phone started blowing up even more with just various coworkers, friends reaching out to me, knowing that I'm also a big Kobe Bryant fan and a Lakers fan. So my phone starts blowing up, and I'm still waiting for an official report. I didn't want to believe it, and then once word came down from my fellow coworker and NBA writer Chris Haynes confirmed the story, and then so did various other reporters. Then it just started to kick in a little bit more, but it still didn't seem that real, because something like this, when it's random and so unexpected, we tend not to think it's something that actually happened, and next thing you know, I'm about like an hour later, I'm trying to find a good picture of Kobe to post, and as I'm doing that, then I just had tears start coming down my eyes, and it just now it's seeing all these posts and different stories come out throughout the day. This has been a huge loss for not just the NBA and basketball community, but the sports community as a whole. And I was just asking one of my buddies too, when's the last time we've seen the death of an athlete this big and this iconic affect the world the way it has? And honestly, he said Muhammad Ali, and that's probably the last person I could think of someone who's had such a great impact on the sports community and the world as a whole. It's just a sad day.
And you and I are pretty young. I know that growing up during our childhood, whether you liked sports or not, you knew who Kobe Bryant was. And so it was like he was a part of growing up. He was part of our pop culture. So what was it like? I mean, is he somebody that you looked up to? I know that a lot of people we've been hearing from today said that, if they didn't have a personal hero in their family, this was their guy.
That's exactly the same case for me. Outside of my parents, Kobe was the guy that he got me into basketball, got me into being a Lakers fan, and being from the Bay Area myself, people always ask me, "Well, how are you a Lakers fan?" I'm like, it was Kobe. He was the one that got me into it, and he helped me develop my passion, my love for basketball, and it's a big reason as to why I'm doing what I do now, working for Yahoo Sports. Is because of my love for basketball. So I can definitely credit Kobe with part of that. And I have Kobe's book that came out last year, and when you read that book, and if you get a chance to, everyone who's watching, if you get a chance to read that book, it literally makes you want to be great at everything you do in life. Whether you play a sport, whether you work in the tech field, or you're a reporter, a nurse, whatever, it literally drives you to be great and makes you want to work harder and focus on all the details and the little things you got to do to perfect your craft. And that just shows you, why the impact of Kobe's death has been so monumental, is because he didn't only affect people who play basketball or other athletes. He affected everyone who just was dedicated to being great at, whatever it is they want to do in life. And that's the impact of, Kobe Bryant.
Sounds like he was an inspiration to so many people and will continue to be even after his passing. So it sounds like also the attention to detail and his work ethic is what really set him apart. So talk to me from a sports perspective, why he was such a sensation and what really set him apart.
Yeah, it's like what you just said right there, Ella. His dedication to to the details, and his work ethic it's unmatched. We've never seen anyone in the sports world work as hard as the way Kobe did. He'd be at the gym hours before practice started, putting up shots, getting in the weight room, already drenched in sweat by the time his teammates and coaches would show up to practice, and they're like, "Why are you sweating already?" And he's like, "Oh, I was in here practicing before you guys got here." That wasn't just a one-time thing. That was Kobe on the regular. He wanted to be the best at, to ever play the game. He put in the time, and we hear all these stories even before today of just how much time Kobe would put in the gym, watching film, studying the guys that played the game before him. He studied Michael Jordan, he studied Hakeem Olajuwon, and he tried to implement their moves and their footwork and shooting ability, all that into his game. And that's something we haven't seen, and it's probably something we never will see again. A guy like Kobe, his to me is he's been the most skilled player the NBA or basketball world has ever seen. Does that mean he's the greatest? I don't know. If you ask me, I'd say he is, but because of his work ethic, matched with the skill and his accomplishments in basketball and even outside of basketball, it's what he's done for the game is it's unmatched.
And it sounds like his daughter was in his footsteps right there. I mean, they were unfortunately on their way to one of her games at the academy. So, are you familiar at all with what her come up was looking like?
Yeah, it was. There was actually a funny story. There was one time where Kobe was on Jimmy Kimmel, and people kept telling him like he told a story about how someone said like, "Hey, when are you going to have a son? We want to see the next Kobe Bryant." And his daughter was sitting next to him when that person asked, and she said something along the lines of, "It's okay, I'm working on it." You know, so that just shows you she knew, or Kobe knew that his daughter was destined for greatness also, and she was the basketball player in the family, and she's the one who got Kobe back into basketball since his retirement because he had kind of stepped away from the game for a little bit and was trying to take a break, but his daughter got really invested into playing basketball, and there's been videos circulating over the past year or so, and Kobe was training her, and we could see some of the same moves that Kobe Bryant was doing in NBA games that she was doing in her games against girls and players of her same age, and she could have been a great WNBA player for sure. Would have had multiple schools trying to recruit her at the college level, and then been a top player in the league. And it's very unfortunate that she was on that same helicopter, and at the age of 14 years old. It's one thing when you lose someone Kobe was still very young too at the age of 41, but to lose a child or a kid, it's always it makes it 10 times worse.
Yeah, and all the more heartbreaking. And I know right now you're actually visiting in Los Angeles. So what is the mood out there like right now? What kind of an outpour have you seen? I know that thousands of people have gathered over there by the Staples Center.
Yeah, those thousands of people are actually right behind me. LA Live is right behind my back, and it's I was walking out there early in the morning and then in the afternoon, and just more and more people keep showing up. Kobe Bryant jerseys, Kobe Bryant, people wearing Kobe's on their feet, the shirts, the hats, purple and gold everywhere. At times it was very silent, and I'd be walking by people and just I can hear the sniffling, I can see the tears. The Kobe chants, MVP chants. A lot of people were also showing some, an aggression towards the Grammys because those are happening tonight across the street at Staples Center, as you mentioned, and people were saying, "Oh, like something along the lines of, we don't need the Grammys. Staples is Kobe's home. Like, cancel the Grammys. This is about Kobe today." And that just shows you how big of an impact Kobe had in Los Angeles. This is his city. It always has been. To many people, he's the greatest Laker. That's the greatest player that's ever put on a Laker uniform too. And people have been out here all day. There's been thousands of people just coming to show their love and their respect and their due diligence to Kobe Bryant.
And that's the thing, once a Laker, especially for him, always a Laker. He dedicated most of his career with the team when a lot of players up and leave if they get a better opportunity or if they just want to move somewhere else. But the fact that he stayed with the Lakers for the end of his career and ended up retiring with them, that must make it all the more difficult for fans out there tonight.
Absolutely. 20 years. He's one of only two players, I think, to spend their entire career over 19 years with one team, and he did it for the longest, which was 20. And through the ups and downs, he still won. He brought the city 5 championships, and we've seen some of his old teammates, speaking up today, including Shaq, Brian Shaw, Magic Johnson, who obviously was involved with ownership and has a very good relationship with Kobe too. And there's been a lot of guys that don't even want to speak. They've been so sad that they don't want to do any interviews or speak on anything because it's so sudden and it's too soon, and people don't want to hop on interviews and be emotional. And I don't blame them. This is the amount of impact, as I said, Kobe had on this city, the organization. There's a reason why fans are always going to be in appreciation of Kobe and always have been. He's always been the number one guy here, and that's never going to change, especially after what happened today.
And it's just so special to see this outpour, of course, in Los Angeles, but also worldwide. And then, as you mentioned, a lot of people so emotional that they couldn't come forward to even talk about it yet. And the ones that have, even bursting out in tears, sobbing. I mean, people who more often than not try to hide their emotions just really couldn't today.
Yeah, when something like this happens and it's someone to the magnitude of Kobe Bryant, you can't hold back. I was just calling my dad about 20 minutes ago to let him know I was going to be staying in Los Angeles for another couple days, because I'll be going to the game on Tuesday when they take on the Clippers, which will be their first home game since this happened today. When I called my dad, before I could even talk to him, I started crying on the phone. And he's like, "Why are you crying?" And I still couldn't get myself to speak. And I finally got myself to calm down. And he was like, "Is this because of Kobe?" And I was like, "Yeah, man. Like this is unreal. I've never dealt with celebrity deaths. Unfortunately, and athlete deaths, they happen every now and then and all the time. But Kobe being my favorite player and having the impact he has had on my life, that this one has just hit me super different, and it's hit everyone very different. Whether Kobe was your favorite player or not, whether you're a Lakers fan or not, people respected Kobe because he was so good, because he was so dedicated, and because he gave back to the game too. That's one thing people maybe didn't realize is in the off season, Kobe's training the next generation of players and giving back to the game, always giving his knowledge to the younger players and letting them know what it takes to be great. And if they do want to win championships and have their names be remembered as one of the best, they have to put in the time. And a lot of players go to Kobe because he's put in the work and he's done that and he has the resume to show for it. And that's why we've even seen players in the NFL and the Pro Bowl today paying tribute. Neymar, soccer player, world-class soccer player, goal today he threw up the 2-4 in honor of Kobe's number 24 jersey. So we're talking about football, we're talking about soccer. This has been a global tragedy.
Yeah, it transcends pretty much everyone, even coming out to see the adversaries today, in support of him, and also giving the nod, and also the moments of silence across basketball courts in the United States. Thank you so much, Sandeep, for joining us and talking about this really, really unfortunate tragedy.
No problem, guys. Have a good night.